welcome back. This is Gregg and I'm here with George Barlow. George is the CEO of Stratesia and a familiar face to many of our members in the BPM community and has contributed to lots of different projects over the years with BPM Institute, not the least of which the creation of our certification program. So George, welcome. Great to see you. Glad things are going well out on the left coast.
Indeed. Greetings from up sort of toward Lake Tahoe at the moment. So
a beautiful thing. Almost spring here in Boston. We're getting there little by little.
We got flowers and tree leaves, so we're ahead of you a little.
Awesome. So George, earlier you mentioned artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I still think there's confusion, within the BPM community or folks that maybe have not started adopting those technologies yet. So I was hoping you could help our members sort through, what is it they need to know? What role are those technologies going to play? And how can they learn a little bit more about the current state of the art?
Yeah, glad to. Well, it seems like everybody's jumping on the AI ML bandwagon. So AI is for artificial intelligence, ML is for machine learning, and most people call it AI ML or just ML. So there's a whole category, for example, of low-code, no-code products that have just appeared in the past probably 18 to 24 months that are allocated to data science and machine learning for no-code people. Think about that. This can be used by people like artists and teachers and management and things like that. Now, they're limited in functionality, but you're able to build things quickly with drag and drop, no code. So instead of creating the typical sort of model where there's 5 or 6 steps in a traditional AI process, you can really kind of get it down to 2. You can say, okay, here's the information about my data. Here's my data, figure it out, machine learning. And many of these vendors are able to give you some pretty good stuff with just about that much effort, a spreadsheet and a goal. Now, one of the interesting things to look at is the convergence that's happening here in the industry. Everybody wants to play in the AI ML space because it's hot. Once upon a time, everyone wanted to be in the BPM space because it was hot. So the more things change, the more they stay the same, of course. But let me give you a couple of examples. So UiPath, which is an RPA company and a very successful one, has really begun making a whole new category of low-code, no-code tools dedicated to things like intelligent document processing. Well, what the heck is that? Well, it's pretty interesting. What they do is they use AI to learn how to do things by watching the user process the documents. So the AI actually learns by simply watching, if you will, the actions and the fields and so forth in a document that are done by a user. So you're training this machine language AI stuff by just doing. And that's pretty interesting. But you can see the convergence, and they've got lots of things that they're offering in the ML space. Celonis is another example. Now, here's a very successful and exciting process mining company. And they're doing all kinds of things in the machine learning area as well. So, for instance, everybody knows the problem with messy data. I mean, ETL is a whole business all of its own. So being able to use machine learning to see and understand patterns in the data and actually be able to clean up messy data from multiple sources is pretty interesting use of machine language. Another thing they're doing is discovering and highlighting sort of hidden friction points in processes. Things that aren't intuitive to humans may very well be quite obvious to pattern recognition in machine learning. And then another thing Celonis is doing is actually recommending the best next action in the discovery of processes. So these learning tools are saying, well, here's what we think you ought to do next. Pretty interesting.
Very good. Well, so I would say, George, for folks that are looking to get some more knowledge about how to identify the solutions, for the right scenarios, as well as getting some hands-on experience with those platforms and others, join us in our new digital transformation learning path. That's going to be happening at the end of April, and George will be with us delivering 2 out of those 4 courses. I think for folks that have a solid foundation in BPM, it's going to continue to serve you well, and incorporating some of these new enabling technologies to better serve your customers and make the organization more efficient is where we're going in the near future. So George, thank you so much for sharing that, and look forward to the upcoming classes.
Greg, thanks for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to seeing the members again myself.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, George.
Bye-bye.